there's still speculation who the, and this person is called the Antichrist, who the Antichrist is. Some people are saying it's the Pope. I don't believe it's the Pope. The Pope's too old. I'm sorry. It's not. It's back at it again. Got a whole new setup,
Just adding a little bit. It's not too much, nothing too fancy. Again, you just gotta spruce it up just a little bit.
Yep, just trying things out and trying to get the best quality out, for you guys. But I'm Julian.
And Ty, still. And
here we are again.
Yep. So we talked about earlier. I don't know. We talked about like a bunch of stuff earlier.
Yeah, so I mean, we always start the conversation before we start the conversation.
Right,
you know what I mean?
And warming up or something.
Just
chatting.
Just to get the blood pumping, get ourselves riled up a little bit.
Yeah. I think theorizing on like the perfect justice system. I don't know what's like going in that right now or today, but it's an option.
Honestly, I am sick and tired of talking about the coronavirus, the shutdown and all that. Like, the truth about it, to sum it all up is, just like I was saying, is we're not part of the agenda. We're byproduct of the agenda. There's nothing we can do because, and I don't know if this is going on in every state, but it's like, in our state, there are people protesting for the government to open things back up, and, they don't want to be stuck at home, being quarantined at home and all that kind of stuff. And my thing is, it doesn't really make any sense to me because you're not going to force the arm of the government. And if anything, they're going to use that against you and say because 300-400 people decided to gather in a small enclosed space, even though it's outside, they're going to, use that and say, oh, now the numbers went up, so now you have to stay even longer. Yeah. It's like, it's almost back to like when you were a kid, when you've been punished by your parents. They tell you to go outside, and then you go outside, and because you go outside, now you're grounded even longer.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I don't think, again, like I said, we're the byproduct of this whole thing. We're not part of the agenda, so you're not going to do, and nothing you do is going to make them reopen it quicker than they want to.
And the thing is,
that's
like,
just
they're not thinking about like why the government's having it closed in the first place. Like again, it's not just closed just to be said power play. It's closing it in order to try to flatten the curve, as they keep saying, to stage off the number of infections. Like, because
at least that's what they're telling you.
Yeah,
that's what they're telling you.
Yeah.
But even with that, they're sticking with their own agenda.
Right.
And I gotta give that to them because I mean that was the agenda in the first place, is to try to keep everybody at home, and because I personally think this whole thing, as far to the government goes, is damage control. It got out of hand. They thought they could contain it. It got out of hand quickly, and everything else after that point is damage control.
Wait, okay, so let's jump to the start of that then. If we're going to go down that route, let's start at the very beginning. Okay, damage control and the intent to keep people inside their homes themselves. So,
correct.
So let's say what their intent would be to keep people inside their homes. Just to be clear, I personally think that it just happened as like an accident over in Wuhan inside the wet market. But what's your take?
My take is, you know what I always say, there's no such thing as an accident.
Okay, that's fine.
There's purpose.
Okay.
And everything that's done is done with a purpose. Now, you have to find out what the purpose is. And then sometimes you have to you have to open your eyes, open your ears, and then you can maybe see that, oh, well, maybe this was the purpose that they did it. Now, it could be that the purpose you think is just really still a sideshow. Now, you say you think it was just an accident that happened out of Wuhan and it came here some way, somehow. I say I disagree.
Anything's possible.
Again, like I said earlier before we started filming, do I think that somebody made the virus in the lab? Yes. Do I think that they intended to release it to a certain, to kind of see what goes on, or maybe to a certain population? Yes. Do I think that they thought they could control the number of people that will get infected versus who actually gets infected? Yes. But in reality, everything you try in a computer simulation or whatever, when you put it in the real world, there are a lot of X factors that you can't account for, because human beings, you cannot always account for how they're going to react or how things are going to go. you may think, oh well, everybody's going to be okay with this, and then you realize that, oh wait, that was a miscalculation. Everybody's not okay with this, apparently. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So again, what is the reason for the government to want to keep us home? I can't really tell you that it's this one thing or this other thing. Yes, part of it may be to really stop the spread of this thing because, like I said, it got out of control really fast, really quick. They don't know what to do, so the best thing is keep yourself out of it, stay in your homes, don't come in contact with other people because you don't know where they've been and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Now, do I think that there's actually a virus out there killing someone and they named it COVID-19 coronavirus? Yes, I do, of course. Now, again, in their, the way they have things set up, do I think that, they thought they could control it and flip it like a switch? Yes. Because that's what the government thinks. They have the power to do A or B, and that's it. But again, there's that X factor that they don't always account for. Now, I've been listening to the news a little bit, mm-hmm. outside of the whole coronavirus and quarantine stuff because I'm just tired of it. And I realized that, again, they're putting up a lot of 5G towers are going up. Now, well, people say, again, listen, some people say, well, what's wrong with that, Julian? I want 5G. I want faster downloads. I want faster internet. What's wrong with that? Before you start, look at the effects of the 5G towers. Read on some of the places that it's been tested, which is like airports, like, the machines that you go into, and read the effect that it's had on people, on some of the people that have been working in close proximity with it, that have been around it. Don't just really accept everything they give you as technology, like, oh, it's great, it's wonderful, I want it because it's faster for me, it's better for me, it's the right thing to do, or whatever the case may be. Do your research. It's like sometimes if the devil wants to come to you and tell you he wants you to be on his side, he's not going to come to you as the big bad devil, red, with horns and a tail. He's going to come to you like a businessman, suit, looking like money, and saying, hey, listen, I have a lot of money and I want to share this money with you. Right. Of course you'll say,
Trojan horse,
sure, exactly. You'll say, oh yeah, sure, yeah, of course. Right. But the question is, what do I have to pay for it? Oh, it's just this little thing called your soul, but don't worry about it. You don't even know you have it, so just sign right here. It's like, and then you go, okay, all right, exactly. And do I believe that, it's been done today? Of course.
Right.
Do I believe that the government used that? Of course. Because again, 5G, AI, artificial intelligence, everything. Of course that's the age we're in right now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Age of technology.
Correct. Age of technology. Some people are actively fighting against it as we speak because they want the dial back of the artificial intelligence and more human involvement. You know what I mean?
There's and also they think the artificial intelligence will end up being the end of humanity.
Correct.
Become the self-aware.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that. There are people like that. So again, the 5G thing is, look into that. Look into that and look at some of the adverse effect that it could have potentially, on human beings and your health.
Right.
Now, that may be the reason they want you to stay home because the people that are protesting against it, obviously if they're out and about and see people putting it up, I don't think that's going to go down too well. Now, that's going to cause a protest. That's going to cause, some, kickback. So if everybody's staying at home and watching TikTok and they're out there putting up the towers, by the time they're done, guess what? You can't take it down. You can try, but at that point, you're damaging government property, and guess what happens? You go to jail.
Okay, let me dive in. I'm like, okay, where's a good opening point to come in and try to dissect?
All right, go ahead. I'll let you have it.
Okay,
go ahead.
So first, when it comes to the 5G, so you believe if that there's a possibility that they probably want people to stay indoors so they don't see people putting up 5G networks and see whatever adverse effects will be happening to the people. Not that 5G is giving people the coronavirus, but that 5G possibly would give people some form of, like you said, adverse effects or so. And maybe to force people to stay indoors was the initial intent.
Correct, and it could be. Now, I'm not saying that it is exactly. I'm just saying that it could be.
Right.
From me, just throwing things around in my head.
Right.
You know what I mean? It could be because if I want to do something and I don't want anyone around, what's the best way for me as a government to make sure no one's around while I'm doing things?
Yeah.
Stay in your house.
Okay.
How can I make you stay in your house? I have to put something out there that you're scared of, make it big, make it so fearful that you will want to stay in your house.
I got you.
While I do what I'm doing on the back end.
That's the only thing I wanted to diversify. But
jump
to make clear right here is that you're not saying 5G is causing coronavirus.
Now,
there are those.
There are people that are saying there's a
yes.
correlation between 5G and the coronavirus.
But,
do I think? Honestly, I haven't read enough and seen enough to put the two together.
Right. Because if that were to have to be the case, then every place that 5G popped up would have to have said 5G networks, but not every place has
Now,
them.
I don't think there's a direct correlation. But now, some of the people that have died, do I think that some of them maybe were exposed to that 5G and have maybe, shown different symptoms and different, health, whatever? Possibly, of course.
But
there's always that, exactly. Pre-existing conditions.
Is not,
correct. But do I think that...
cause.
The 5G is the coronavirus. No, the coronavirus is the coronavirus.
Right.
Like, again, because you have to think about, and if you don't believe that scientists study the body, we ourselves have bacteria in our bodies.
We are bacteria.
Exactly. Basically. You know what I mean? So it's like scientists, they study these things. You can they have been trying to make things for years. They've been trying to clone people for years. They've been trying to clone animals for years. They've been trying to, mix one species of animal with a whole different species. They've been doing it for years. Have they been successful? I don't know. Maybe they have. Maybe they haven't. Until they decide to put it out to the public, we'll never really know.
To varying degrees, they have been. There's people, like rich people, who have supposedly cloned their dogs. So they would clone their dog in order to have like an identical pet because they don't want to let go of that dog when it dies. But at the same time, that new dog that they get, it doesn't have like the history that the old dog has. So it'll have like the same genetic tendencies that their old dogs have, but it's not going to have that upbringing of being like, oh, I saved my dog from the dump or so like that. So it had this hard trials or something. No, your new dog's gonna look like the old dog.
Yeah, but it's not gonna be the same. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like they've been doing this thing for years. So for you to believe that they can't cook up a virus,
they could. They could.
I mean, come on.
Right.
I mean, that's anybody who doesn't think that you need to just. I don't know. You need to wake up or stay asleep. I mean, pick one, But
I don't think people think that more so. I think they know that they can cook up a virus. The question is whether they did in this case. So they know that they can create shit, hence the lab in Wuhan is an actual bio research laboratory that does stuff like that. But did they actually do it in this circumstance? And again, what was the intent behind it too?
Now, if you ask me again, because we haven't really we never really, touched on the one world thing that I keep talking about, because a lot of people don't understand that, and most people don't even believe it, to be honest with you. But I believe it, and I think that everything they're doing, because if you really analyze what's going on, I can see one world order coming out of this whole thing. If you don't see it, then I can try to show it to you as best as I can. But again, if you understand that and you know that, but you see, to get to that one world order thing, it has to be gradual. You know what I mean? It's not going to just happen like Zoom. It has to be They can't just. The government, every government in the whole world can't just say, okay, you know what, we're going to go to one world order, because there's going to be an uproar. People are going to be like, what, are you crazy? No, we're not. But if they can slowly take steps here and there, like this whole thing that's happening right now, like I was sharing with a coworker of mine, there's going to be people are saying they want things to go back to normal, but you're not paying attention. Normal is gone. There is no normal anymore.
Right.
There's going to be a new normal.
Right.
But it's not the normal that you're used to.
Right. So that's what they want to go to, or maybe they're not thinking that far.
They're not thinking that far.
They want to go back to being able to be outdoors without masks.
But because I read a lot of, we just want things to go back to normal. There is normal's gone.
Right.
It's like, what is the Wizard of Oz? Dorothy, Kansas is gone, bye-bye. Yeah. It's gone.
But that's the same aspect.
You know,
like as a human, we always get to like certain points in our life where we wish things could go back to an easier time.
Correct.
Things were simpler, where things
Correct.
were actually going in our favor.
Correct.
So it's that same mentality. So I don't fault people that think that. I don't fault people for wanting things to go back to how they were.
I don't fault them, but again, I'm a realist. You have to look at what's going on.
Yeah.
Even after this whole thing is done with, social distancing will forever be in our vocabulary.
In a vocabulary.
You know what I mean? And, you know, even when this whole thing is done, people are going to, some businesses are going to change the way they do business.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, it's going to be different. So there is no normal. Now, you can say you want things to open back up, and so you can have a little bit more of what you thought you had was freedom, you know, because for me, I believe that freedom is really like, it's more of a sense of freedom and not an actual freedom. Oh, yeah. You know, because, I mean, in America, they're so entitled, and you think that, oh, yes, the land of the free, the home of the brave. Like, sit down, be quiet, and educate yourself. You're not free.
To certain places, yes, but if you're talking about, like, true uninhibited freedom, no,
yeah, not of course not.
That's why we got rules and regulations.
Exactly.
The definition of a rule is not freedom, but if you really want to get down to semantics.
You know, but, you know, that's why I laugh at some people and they say, you know, I mean, yes, to a certain point, they give you freedom. Yeah. To a certain point. Now, were you completely free? No. Your cell phones they're ankle bracelets, you know, they're the tracking devices. You know, every gadget you have in your home, Alexa, Google, name it. Who do you think controls these things?
Right.
They do. So you think it's freedom? Okay. You can say that. I'll ride with you
it's
for a second.
It's the freedom to use it, but again,
it's the freedom, exactly, the freedom to use it and the freedom for them to use it however way they see fit. Mm-hmm. You know, that's why, you know, with the whole, you know, Bin Laden thing when that was going on, I'm like, wait, let me wait. I don't understand something. You have a satellite floating out somewhere that you can see what I'm grilling in my backyard, but you can't find one terrorist.
Well, that's the whole underground.
You know what I mean? And I get that. Yeah, I still get that. But you can't find one person. You want to tell me that there's no point in time that this dude shows up where you can pinpoint him? And that's why when the whole thing, when Obama did that, I was like, man, they knew what this dude was all along. To some point, I believe that every government, look, you need to keep a bad guy in your pocket.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense.
You need to keep it, because you don't want to be the bad guy. Right. If you look at me as a good guy, because you know, hey, you know, Julian's, you know, he's a nice guy. He never gets angry, you know, and you know, somebody did something wrong to me, like, oh well, Julian's just going to forgive him. But I'm like, yeah, I'm going to forgive him. But that dude down the street, that's the head of a gang, and I'm and he's my buddy, and I'm like, listen, take out that whole zip code for me, including the dude there.
Yeah. See,
you know what I mean?
If anything,
so it's like
when it comes to like the terrorists, that's what they're trying to avoid, though. Like they can find and pinpoint the terrorists, but the fact that so many terrorists inside those like Middle Eastern countries, they surround themselves with civilians and innocent people. So it's not just about finding them when and where, but they got to minimize the casualties, unless that's just going to create even more terrorists. Correct. You kill the civilians. And all that does is engage other people and force them to become terrorists.
And again, my theory on that is, when the deal goes south behind the doors, then they'll open it up and be like, oh, guess what? We know who did this. It's this guy right here, and we're going after him. It just means the underground deal went south, and now they want to clean up. But they clean up publicly so they can get that attaboy.
Right.
They use it to their benefit.
But at the same time, that's because the public demands that too. Because the public demands to know who is responsible for this.
Correct.
Even if you want to go back as a weird thing, Michael Jackson. Who is responsible for this man's death or so? They need somebody to point that finger.
Of course.
9/11. Who is responsible for all the sorrow of all these people? We need somebody to point the finger at, and then they just say the vague statement of terrorists.
Correct.
Or so.
That's because everybody wants to be able to do this.
Right.
Point the finger.
They want it simple. They want it simple.
But the thing is, it's never simple. Never simple. And people don't just want to accept that. It's never simple. We're living in a micro generation. We talked about this. You want it now. You want it now.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't want to take the time for me to show you how long this thing has been going on. You know, how deep it spreads. And what it will take to completely eradicate it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Hence the situation we're in right now.
Yep.
They want it simple. They want to know when is it going to be over, and then they gave them the date of, it's going to be over in like April or so, or Easter even. The date came, went, and now people are outraged or so.
Again, I don't want this to be like the topic for our podcast for weeks to come. Because I'm just look. The fact of the matter is, this is what we're dealing with. Deal with it the best way you can. This is the time to reevaluate yourself, like yourself. People are saying, "Oh, I'm bored sitting at home," blah blah blah. Though, listen, there was a time in my life that I took a whole year to just learn who I am.
Right.
Like, who is Julian? Like, who is Julian? You know, what makes Julian tick?
Right. And
what makes Julian Julian? Like, you know, I abstain from everything. Like, I was talking to my wife about that yesterday. You know, because we were playing Truth or Dare, and you know, your sister came over, the youngest one,
right,
you know,
right.
And so we were playing Truth or Dare, and there was a question about, you know, how long you had abstained from sex, and I told him it was about 1.5 years, but it was a choice for me to go celibate because I was trying to find myself,
right.
Like that, you know, spiritual, deep. It wasn't even really more spiritual for me. Like, it was just like I was just trying to know who I was, like, you know, who I am, and when I came out of it, I knew my limits. I knew what I could do. Like, I knew a lot about myself. Like, most people don't even know the depths of themselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I know certain things. I know certain boundaries that I can go up to, and certain boundaries that I won't cross.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, but I had to really take time to do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you know, when you time is a precious gift that we waste a lot of time.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? We waste it doing so many stupid things because we don't value time.
Talk to like any elderly
person.
I mean? They will probably say time might be the most valuable resource that we have.
Exactly.
I would probably say memories, but time is up there as well.
But time makes memories. You know what I mean?
Right.
Time makes memories, because without the time, you may not have the memories. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So it's like time is very valuable, and the way you choose to use your time right now is very vitally important to what's about to come. And that's what people are not really trying to register. So my thing is, buckle down, you know, use this time wisely. If there's something, a project you've always wanted to start it, you never had the time to because you're so busy working and doing this for the kids and doing that, this is the time to do that.
Right.
You know, there are a lot of people that have been pondering over starting a business, you know, they just didn't have the time to really put this together, do the research. This is the time.
Right.
It depends on how you use this time will really influence and affect what comes next.
Yeah.
And that's what people are not getting. Like, stop out there, you sitting out there protesting for hours and hours, and I'm just like, what are you doing? You know, that's not a valuable use of your time. It's a waste of time, because guess what? It's not going to make the governor do anything besides the fact that, say, you helped spike up the numbers. Now I'm going to impose tighter lockdowns, and I'm going to extend this thing even further out.
Right.
That's all you're going to do.
Plus, I don't know if you've seen, like, that the governor sent out, like, an email that was saying, like, his idea of trying to get the government
yeah.
So, like, even that proves that he's trying to work with people. And inside that, he said, we want suggestions. We're having, like, a virtual town hall or so like that.
Yeah.
We want to open this shit up just as much as you guys do. But we want to know how we can open this up in a safe way.
Correct.
So, if anything, all of those people that got all that extra time to go out there and protest or so, focus your time on telling him exactly how they want it to be opened back up in a non-reckless way.
Exactly.
That's everybody working for, like, a unanimous goal.
Exactly. But, again, not using the time wisely.
Right.
Not using it efficiently. You know, like, I mean, for me and my wife, you know, like I said, we're still working. We sort of our frontliners, you know, but, I mean, what we do, if they didn't shut us down, then they deem us essential. But the thing about it is, you know, again, I attribute my health, safety, not completely to what I do or don't do, but of course, the higher power that I serve, you know, God, you know, through Jesus Christ. And I'm going to keep saying that. Now, you don't have to believe what I believe. I'm not trying to force that on anybody. Right. We've talked about that before. It's just what I believe, and I believe it strongly, and I cannot be dissuaded. And, that's my thing. Now, anybody else can believe that, okay, this is what's keeping me safe, that's what's keeping me safe. But whatever you think it is, whatever you believe is keeping you safe, do what you need to do. Do your part. You know what I mean?
Right.
Do your part as best as you can, because, like, again, for what I believe in, I still work with people. Right. Even though there are times when you can do the 6 feet and there are times when you can't. But I do pray to those who believe in prayer. Now, when I pray, like, I don't pray selfishly. I cover everybody that's around me because, if I'm going to be around you, I don't want you to be sick.
Right.
Even if I know that my immune system is great, I still don't want you to be sick because, any type of sickness is misery. Like, nobody wants to be laid up sick, coughing, sneezing, whatever the case may be. It's miserable. You know what I mean? So I don't want you sick. I want you healthy. I don't want you to get sick. I don't want you to take it home to your family, stuff like that. So I try my best. When I pray in the morning, I pray for everybody that's around me, everybody that I come in contact with, whether we're doing 6 feet or maybe if it's 4 feet or 3 feet, whatever the case may be.
Right.
You know what I mean? But, again, that's what I believe in. And because I believe in that, I'm not really too worried about what the government is doing or not doing, because at the end of the day, I know that personally there's nothing I can do to make the governor change his mind. There's nothing I can personally do or say to make the government say, you know what, he's got a point, let me rethink that. No, who am I? I'm just a guy. It doesn't even matter if there's 100 of me or if there's 1,000 of me. Again, they have their agenda and they're going to follow their agenda, whatever that is.
Right.
End of story.
See, that's the one thing is that if we do go down the path of assuming that they have an agenda, I want to at least theorize on what that agenda could be. I might sound like I'm harping on the same thing too much, but if we are going into the ideals of the New World Order, or what the purpose, the initial purpose behind, the initial possible purpose, get that correct, behind what the coronavirus is or so, then what would that initial purpose be?
Again, man.
I'm not harping.
I know you're not harping,
like,
but
even if we create that right
there's
now,
there's so many ways they could take it though, because the whole coronavirus thing and everything that happened it's like a buffet of avenues for them. On one hand, you have the economy. The economy is in the toilet. Everybody, they're giving this money out, and everybody's like, woohoo, yeah, I got money, I got a check, $1,200, yeah. Right. But here's the truth. The government is broke. They're flat broke.
Now.
The government is so broke, it's like, it's a joke. It is a joke. The money they're giving you, and I told somebody this, hear me very well. The money they're giving you is not real money. It's money they don't have. They're giving you money they don't have.
Right.
And when you start giving out trillions of dollars that you don't have, there's going to be a hole somewhere that's going to need to be patched.
Oh yeah. That's why, again, people are theorizing right now.
You know what I mean?
We're not there yet, but the second this shit is over, it's still not going to be over, because we're just going to hit like another Great Depression. And then that's when we're going to feel the true effects of shit going on right now.
Exactly. And my thing is, think about this for a second. So the economy was tanking before this whole coronavirus. With the whole coronavirus.
Was it for sure?
It was heading that way. It was heading towards the toilet.
Because I heard some people with varying degrees. Some people said it was doing better. Some people said you gotta look out.
The people who are saying it's looking better, what they were doing, they were looking at the stock markets. Now, there are people who follow the stock markets, and it's okay. But here's what you need to understand about the stock market. The government knows that a lot of people follow the stock market. Depending on what the stock market is doing, people react to that. If the Dow stocks go down, people are selling stocks like crazy. You know what I mean? So there's panic. So what is the government doing? They're pumping money into the stock market. The stock market was going up while the real economy was going down.
But the question
is... So again, smoke and mirrors.
Wait, but pumping money into the stock market is basically run on the expectations of how they think a business is doing, though, right? Like, it's not actual money, it's idealistic money, though, right?
Correct. It's not actual money, it's idealistic money. Right. But there's a way to, again, so, okay, if I say I'm just going to use my company. Say My company's called, well, I'm going to use one from the movie, Globodyne. Right? I'm Globodyne. You're the government, right? And Globodyne, a lot of people invest in Globodyne. You know, a lot of people see Globodyne as a really big, huge company. If my company starts to tank, it can sway which way the economy goes.
Okay.
So you come to me and you see that, I come here and say, listen, there's a problem with Globodyne. If we don't fix it, Globodyne will tank.
It's going to start showing.
Correct.
Okay.
And you, the government, are going to say, well, how much do you need? I'm like, okay, I need about $10 billion to keep this thing afloat. Okay, no problem. Here's $10 billion. So now I report publicly that, hey, Globodyne's doing well. We just acquired, you know, John Schmo, and because we acquired John Schmo, we went up.
Okay, that makes sense. And
then it's like, oh, great. So everybody's now invested in Globodyne. But the real thing is, Globodyne is really tanking.
Okay.
So what I'm saying?
Right.
So you get that smoke and mirrors
of how they can actually
exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Exactly. So it's all about that, and people who watch that, because when everything was first shut down, if you look at the stock market was still climbing. How the heck is the stock market still climbing when everything is literally shut down? No business is being transacted. Right. How?
Like, I wonder how far in.
Exactly. Like how is it still going up?
Yeah.
You know?
They probably were thinking it wasn't going to be much, because, like, earlier on, a lot of people thought it wasn't going to be that big of a pandemic or so. Like, we've seen what was going on in China, but a lot of people thought it wasn't going to get as out of hand as it has over here.
Yep.
So maybe that's why they were a little bit more resilient towards selling. They were just like, it's just going to come and go. It's going to come and pass. Let me not freak out just yet. Just a possibility.
Yeah, but, you know, you have to pay attention. You know, you have to pay attention to things. Like, I hate politics. I don't follow politics. I really don't. Because, do I think, honestly, do I think my vote counts? No, it doesn't.
Yeah, your life's a lot better because you don't follow politics.
Like, you know,
it's stressful.
Like,
it's not.
And that's why I don't follow it. Because, you know, the truth about it is, again, it's a facade. It's a facade that they've given us to think that, okay, we have power to do something, because as long as you make people think a certain way, you can keep them in a certain, I would say, box, column, whatever you want to call it. You can keep them to a certain point under control.
Keep them complacent.
Correct. Exactly. Exactly. As long as they think they're doing something, you can keep them happy. As long as they keep doing this. They think that, you know, they got this.
So they feel like they at least tried.
They're at least contributing.
At least put the vote in.
You know, but
so
if you really think that counts, and you know, I do it not because I think it counts, but I do it for other people, to make other people happy. Like, my wife will tell me go out and vote.
Right.
My mom will tell me go out and vote. I'm like, okay, you know what? If that makes you happy, I'll go out and vote. But let me explain something to you. My vote doesn't count. Neither does yours. Because at the end of the day, let me explain something to you. Whoever they want to be president will be president. And who are they? The 1% of the 1% that controls the whole world. Again, people don't believe they exist. I promise you they exist. The Wallies are part of it. That's why I always call them the Wallies. You know, and you can see, you know how they treat people. We don't have to. We have to dedicate a whole podcast to that. You know, but we're not going to go there. We're not going to go there. You know, we're going to, you know, at a later time, maybe in the future, we'll deal with that part. But there is the 1% of the 1%, and the 1% of the 1%, they can buy their president, and it doesn't matter what we do. Whoever's in there, they'll buy them, and whoever's president will do exactly what they tell him to do, not what we're telling him to do. So when you think about it like that, you can understand why we have a president like we have a president now, who really doesn't give a flying, you know, fish what he says or who he offends. And they want somebody like that.
Okay, so
they want someone like that that's beneficial.
Okay, an answer that I really want. And I'm pretty sure everybody or anybody watching wants to know too. You probably want to know the answer as well, though. But why does there not seem to be any upstanding people that truly cares about the public or cares about how the country actually develops and gets better or so like that? How come we don't have anybody as president that fits that description? Well, it always seems like somebody who's in somebody's pocket or corrupt or making some bad decisions.
Here's the thing. It's not that we don't have that person.
Right.
that person genuinely exists.
Have we seen those people? Have those
you
people
have seen them, but you have never seen them in a position where they make decisions that affect the public. Why? Because they don't fit into the agenda of the 1% of the 1%. I just told you that.
Yeah.
This guy is bad for business. We don't want him. This one, he's great for business. Let's buy him.
Okay, I suppose that's a legitimate
That's why you don't see them there.
And you see people
take people like Bernie.
Yes,
Bernie.
He's the closest.
How many times has he? This is the second time he's had to drop out. I don't follow politics, but I hear chatter.
I don't understand that. Okay, just to let loose on that, I don't understand how so many people were behind him, and he has so much of a groundswell. And like even earlier on, Biden was like gone. He was like being dusted. They were like, all right, he's senile. He's not going to make it up there or so. And then after everybody else on the Democratic side just drops out, everything funnels into Biden, and somehow Bernie gets left in the dust.
Bernie,
it's crazy.
As much as I like Bernie as a person,
right? But obviously he doesn't fit that description.
Bernie's bad for business.
The 1%. Well, I know.
Bernie's bad for business.
Right, but fucking how? I don't understand. Unless it's a legitimate tampering with the votes in these places or so, which I'm pretty sure.
So now you're starting to see what I'm trying to tell you.
No, I mean this stuff I've been seeing
back
then.
Good,
but
good.
I'm just saying. It's frustrating. That's what I'm saying. You live a much more laid back life, not keeping track of politics. Well, I gotta look at this bullshit every now and then.
I know I know the end product.
Right.
So everything that happens between now and the end product, I don't really concern myself with.
Right.
I hear it, I see it, but I don't concern myself with it. It doesn't keep me up at night.
Yeah.
You know.
That's how I normally am, but that's just me crying like a baby right now. I just feel like voicing that, which is inside of like a lot of people's heads, but it is what it is. Like you can be at work, like ask anybody there, and I'm just like, all right. And so what do you think about the candidates? We got like Biden versus Trump, and anybody on the left is like.
And the good ones, if they do make it there, because like again, because Africa, like there, stuff like this goes in Africa. There was a time when there was a guy that was elected to be president. Very wealthy man. He was a businessman. He was considered the man of the people. Mm-hmm. Everybody loved him. Everybody rallied behind him. He legitimately won the election back in Africa to become president. He was president for, I don't know, maybe, I forget exactly how long. I think it was maybe months. It could have been.
Months?
Yeah. Right. And within those months, he implemented things that boom, 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 like, people wanted to see. Mm-hmm. And then, because Africa sometimes, I don't know, there's the military and they do this, coup d'etats, where they take over the government. And they toppled his government, and he got thrown in jail. Mm. And they threw him in jail for treason because they said he technically didn't win and he forced himself on, into the presidency, which, how can you do that? Exactly. Yeah. But cut the long story short, I believe he actually ended up dying in prison, and that created a real, it was a mess.
Of mysterious causes?
His health deteriorated, you know what I mean? Okay. Because, prison in Africa is not prison in the U.S. No. I would tell you that. Even if you're a billionaire and they throw you in prison, they don't put you in. They don't put you in country club prison. Nah, like they're doing it. Exactly. Shit, nah, you ain't doing that. No, you're not doing that. So, but what I'm trying to say is, even if the good ones, like you said, do get up there, they're bad for business, they're not going to be there for long.
It's just so frustrating.
They're not going to be there for long.
I still just gotta always ask why.
But again, everybody. You ask any person who was alive and well during the time of Kennedy, they'll tell you. You would be hard pressed to find somebody that would say one negative thing against them, but how did it end for Kennedy?
What happened there?
Yeah, when they couldn't buy him off, they took him out.
Right.
Sorry. Let's talk about it. New World Order. What is it?
Yeah. Okay.
So we don't keep let's get a taste. Let's get a taste of it. Let's get into it. Okay. So, what is the purpose of the New World Order? People say that. Okay, Julian, you believe in the New World Order. What's the purpose of the New World Order? Well, exactly what it says, to bring the whole world together under one government, excuse me, under one government, spending one currency, having one religion, because it seems like it'd be the easiest thing. And what they're going to say is, oh, love. Love is all we need. We don't need that religious bull crap. We don't need this. We don't need that. As long as we just can love each other, we don't need this divided religion. We all believe in love, right? Your religion believes in love. Your religion preaches love. Your religion preaches love. So what are we really fighting against? Why all this division? No. Let's come together. Let's be one. If we have one government ruling everybody, then this doesn't have to happen here, that doesn't have to happen there. Then everybody's on the same plane level. You go to China, you're doing the same thing that they're doing in Africa, you're doing the same thing that they're doing in the United States. It'll be so much easier. You don't have to change currencies when you travel. You just spend one currency here, and you can spend it all around. And people are like, you know what? That's a really good idea. Yeah. But what that's also called, when you really think about it, is called a dictatorship.
Yeah, which we already have plenty of those, though.
Correct, but they're not going to present it to you like that this time. It's not going to be Hitler talking about, kill all the Jews and all this kind of stuff. No, it's going to be some guy who a lot of people like, a lot of people respect, and he's going to be the face, and it's going to be a face that people go, oh, hey, look at him. I mean, will this guy really want anything bad for you? Yeah, he's the devil. He wants all bad for you.
Okay,
but he's not going to come to you.
Reality out of it. That's happened many a times over.
Correct. But this time it's going to be different. This time it's going to be different because this time the economy is going to be affected. Because this is how the Bible says it. The Bible says, you will not be able to buy and sell, do commerce, unless you have what is known as the mark of the beast. And according to the Bible, if you have this mark of the beast, it means you have pledged your allegiance to this one person. Who, again, what really happens is the person that's going to be the face is not really technically the devil. The devil's in the background, and what the devil is doing in the background is he's getting weaker as the time goes by, so he takes whatever is left of his power and he delegates it to this person, and he's just sitting in the back. Okay. So this person now has the full back and the full actual spiritual power of the devil.
Okay.
And he's going to be the face, and again, it's going to be a face that people like, a face that people a face that people are going to say, yeah, I'll listen to him. It's not going to be a face of somebody who's going to, and this person might actually appear to be, someone who maybe will be, over the course of how this thing happened, you may see this person, like, oh, there needs to be peace over here. Stop all this fighting. It's senseless. I'm going to dedicate, like, it may be someone like that. Oh, yeah, that guy, he's a peace-loving guy. Like, you may see him pop up here and there, but there's still speculation and this person is called the Antichrist. Who the Antichrist is. Some people are saying it's the Pope. I don't believe it's the Pope. The Pope's too old. I'm sorry. It's not. It's sorry, Pope.
This.
I mean, yeah.
No, he's doing his thing. He's doing his, like, anti-Pope culture stuff. He's doing all right.
I think it's going to be a young person because, again, right now that's who the target is. It's going to be somebody, a young face, a face that this generation knows, a name that this generation knows or associates itself with. Again, I don't know who the Antichrist is. I don't know that. But I'm just telling you from my own understanding of what it is, this is how it's going to go down. And then, because again, look at what's happening right now. The economy is in the toilet. Then they're going to tell you that, okay, they're going to come out and say at some point in time, like, listen, guys, it's bad. It's real bad. It's actually worse than bad. You all remember the COVID-19? Yeah, it wiped us out. And then they're going to say, right now the dollar is in the toilet. If we want to get this thing back up, we got to come up with a whole new currency system. And because that's how we're going to build the economy back up. You know what I mean? And people are going to go, well, what do you think we should do? Because they'll turn it right back to them. Because, again, like you just said, people are not taking the time to say, okay, well, if that's the situation, why don't we go back to the old system? I have rice, you have chicken. Let's just exchange stuff. I'll give you a bag of rice. You give me 3 or 4 live chickens.
I mean, but that's somebody who doesn't think too deeply into it, because there's flaws with that system.
I understand.
Too.
I understand there's flaws.
Right.
But instead of them to say, okay, let's look at that system and let's find out what the flaws are and see if we can fix them, but they'll automatically go to, oh, well, what do you think? Well, I'm glad you asked. See, so this is what we're trying to do if we have this and that, this currency, this and that, and then eventually, what if we can get everybody to, to use this currency that we're using? We can gain a superpower back. We can be the America that your grandfathers lived for. And people eat that stuff up every day. The America that your grandfather built, with blood and sweat. Yeah! Yeah! And then it's like, that's all it's going to take. Right. You're going to see all these idiots running there. And it's like, what are you doing? It's like,
I guess.
I mean, because that's all it takes to rile, get it cry, I can go out there and rile, get the mob riled up like that. You know what I mean? You just got to know what to say to them.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So that's a couple avenues. All right. So they say that the Antichrist is going to try to unite everybody in order to go down like that one dark path. Isn't it? Well, okay. One dark path or just one path, correct? Like,
I mean, it's not really a path. It's basically just everyone's going to listen to me and everyone's going to pledge their allegiance to the devil and going to say, listen, God, I've chosen a side. I've officially chosen a side, and I'm not on your side.
Okay.
I'm with him, Lucifer.
So let's say
that's really what that is.
Okay, so let's say, just idealistically, if we took that scenario of everybody being under one system or so like that, and took the spirituality, like the idea of the devil, if we took the devil out of it, then would that not be a good thing? For me personally, I don't think it is anyway. But from your perspective, would everybody...
It's not a good thing. If one person runs the whole world...
Well, not that. Again, take that out.
You know what I mean? Okay, take that aspect out.
Yeah, just take the idea of people not fighting with each other anymore. There are people not having wars or differentiating between us and them and all these like exchanges or so. If things were simplified so you could actually travel around the world and things just be fluid and you just experience different cultures in a very fluid, easy way or so, would there be...
Now, I mean, okay, if you take spirituality and everything out of it, it sounds great.
Right.
It sounds good.
So if you negate the aspect of the anti-devil.
Correct.
So
if you
anti-devil
did not exist. The anti-devil, no.
Antichrist.
Anti-devil is Jesus.
God, that's a okay. Yes.
Antichrist.
Upside down. Okay.
Exactly.
Alright, I got you.
So if you take that away and you take all that, of course it sounds great.
Not a bad idea.
It doesn't sound like a bad idea.
It's just the concept of doing that, uniting everyone behind the Antichrist.
Correct. And again, not really saying that, okay, this is who I am.
Right.
Still hiding under a mask until you realize that, oh crap, I didn't know this is what I, pledge allegiance to. I didn't know that this is... But they're not going to make it easy, of course. And if you don't, there's going to be some heavy persuasions. And for those of us that believe what we believe, that Jesus, of course, is a savior, if we do not accept that fact to pledge our allegiance, yes, they will hunt us down like rabid dogs. They will treat us like we're basically terrorists. Probably a little worse than that.
Wait, so you're saying
the people that
everybody's united, the people who don't choose.
Yeah, because there will be people that will say, "I'm not taking that crap. I know what that is." If God spares my life and I'm still here around that time, I ain't taking that crap. I don't want it. You can put a bullet in my head right now. I ain't taking it.
Yeah.
But it won't be that easy. They're not going to say, "Oh, no, we're not going to put a bullet in your head." Nah. What we'll do is we might put a bullet in somebody you love's head and try to persuade you to say, well, if you take this thing, we'll leave you alone. But I'm like, no, not happening. There will be torture. It's called the time of tribulation, and I believe that time has already started, but it's not in full effect. But the one world order is really just it's the end of the world as we know it. Now, the Bible says there's going to be a new heaven and a new earth. The new earth is going to be, it's like you said, to put it in terms that maybe you can understand and not really use the spiritual, the spiritual
I mean, I got the spiritual too.
You know what I mean? And I know you get that, but it's almost like, just like you said, humans are a plague in a way. You know what I mean? It's like we have anything we touch we decimate somehow, one way or the other.
To the planet, yeah.
Exactly.
You
know what I mean? And some of us have tried to appeal to the others, and they're just not working. It's because they don't really have the power to, do this or that. But there is one that has the power to say, you know what, I'll eyeball you out. Like he did in the day of Moses.
Right.
So there's going to be a new heaven and new earth, which that new heaven and new earth, the new earth again, will not have people that have. It will be the people that have stood the test of time here. With all the temptation and stuff, they still chose to follow that straight path of, okay, I know you hit me, I know that you don't like me, but I'm still going to show you love. Mm-hmm. Okay, I know that you don't agree with what I'm saying, but I'm still going to show you love. I know that I shouldn't do this, and I will not do this, right. Regardless of how bad you tempt me. I will suffer before I do that.
Right.
Those are it's almost like you've been tested and you've been approved. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of like, let's use martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you're training, some trainings are so intense that some people don't make it.
Right.
And some people quit and say, you know what, I can't do this. It's just so hard. Mm-hmm. Like if you take monks, for example, if we go by the way they tell us that they train and things that they can do, not every human being can do that. Right. Not every human being can attain that level of, whatever it is to
enlightenment.
Exactly. So if you take that, it's almost like, okay, some people try to be a monk and don't even end up making it. And these guys are, for lack of a better word, they're real good martial artists. I mean, they can fight but they just can't do that monk thing because they don't have that, endurance. They don't have that, you know what I mean?
Right. The mental immunity.
Exactly.
To resist all that.
But after you've done all that and you pass it and you can do it, then you're officially a monk. Then you can do all those things that they can do. Then you can do the 5 finger of death or whatever they call it. And I'm just using this as an analogy.
I'm like, this is all kung fu movie.
I know, right? But I'm using something that you'll be able to relate to a little bit better because that's your kind of stuff.
I got you.
You know what I mean? You're like, wait, 5 finger of death? Wait, where'd you learn that?
Like, okay, all right. Now that we know you watched Kill Bill last night.
I know, right?
All right, but keep going.
So it's basically like when you tested and tried, and you're like, okay, you can now come into the new earth because we know that you have transformed your mind from that old way of, okay, if you do something to me to hurt me, I'm going to try to hurt you back.
Right.
You can resist. You've been hurt. You've been tried. You've been tempted. You've been through the fire, and you didn't break. So you're allowed to come in. Now you started off and you say, you know what, screw this, Julian, it's too hard, I can't do it. I'm just, if I'm going to go to hell, I guess I'm just going to go to hell. I'm going to drink, I'm going to kill people, I'm going to do whatever the heck I want to do.
Jesus. Good one. Well, there you go.
You know what I mean? It's like, you're definitely not allowed in that new earth because you would definitely be one that would be like, hey, why are we all doing this? Come on, let's rise up and let's start. And then, no, we're not doing this all over again. So it's like, that's why the path is narrow and only few find it. Because again, it's like endurance while you're on this side. Because this is the worst of it, like on earth. Like, I mean, even with my beliefs, like sometimes, people go, oh, you believe in that Jesus dude? Oh, why you listen to the white man? I'm like, listen, look. First of all, do your research. Jesus is not white.
White man didn't create.
I don't understand why people keep saying that's a different podcast session.
Right.
We'll jump into that later. But even now, like some people are like, oh, one of those type dudes. Oh, you're religious. I'm not religious. Like religion is meant to enslave man, and I keep saying this. Even people who believe in Jesus, still some people don't understand the reason why Jesus existed. They think he came to bring a religion. No. People who say, "Oh, I'm a Christian," I'm not. Don't say that because you're confusing yourself and others because you're putting yourself in a religion, and that's what he came to take you out of. So it's like you're putting yourself back in bondage when he came to free you. Like he loosed the shackles, he opened the gate, the door of jail, and said, "Come out," and you're like, "No, I'm staying in here. I feel comfortable here." Like, no, but you don't have to stay here. Like. The guards are gone. They ran away because they're scared. The door's open. You're not held back. Come on out. No, I'm just going to stay here. I feel comfortable here. It's like, okay, fine. Stay there. I'm going to walk away. Whenever you want, you can walk out. You know what I mean?
I'm curious. It seems like your reaction to the other people who believe that they're religious and kind of sort of give it like a bad visual from the outside, a bad name, so to speak, or so. It feels like they, if anything, annoy you even more so than the people who just straight up kind of dismiss religion.
Correct, they do. They really do, because they don't understand. And I'm like, when you don't understand, you're sending the wrong message entirely.
But you pretend to act like you do
Correct,
understand.
exactly. And that's not what he wants. Mm-hmm. That's not what he wants for you. That's not the whole reason why he became. Like, because people look at me and go, yes, the Bible says do not be equally yoked with unbelievers, meaning that people who don't believe, you should, have, distance yourself to a certain point, from them, because the only reason for that is just so that they don't convince you if you don't have a strong will or a strong mind about what you believe in. They do annoy me because of the fact that, okay, so even normal people, when you do something the same way, the same time, every time, they say, what's the word we use? Religiously. You're doing it religiously. And the way I explained it to a friend of mine, a coworker who claims he's an atheist, but I'm going to make a believer out of him yet. But anyway.
Don't force that on someone.
I'm not forcing it on him, but I'm just getting him to see, errors of the ways. And, again, the way I presented to him, he's very accepting of it. And this is what I told him. This is what I shared with him. I said, religion, when you do something repetitionally, we say you're doing it religiously. Now, when you start to do something religiously, your brain automatically knows that, okay, at 2 o'clock, you got to do this. Mm-hmm. At 4 o'clock, you got to do that. At 6 o'clock, you got to do this. So when you start to do it like that, there's no emotion in it.
There's no heart, no thought behind it. It's muscle memory at that point.
Thank you. You're just doing it. So that's what religion is. That's not what he wants. That's not what God wants. That's not what Jesus said that he's given us. He said what he's doing is bridging the gap so we can have a relationship between us and God. He's just the guy who's bringing us together, like the mediator between us and God.
Right.
So it's not like, okay, every Sunday go to church and pray to God, and that's when you pray to God. Okay, you go to church every Sunday, you pray to God. Like, it's more than that.
So basically,
you should talk to God every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay,
like, me and you, we have a relationship, not like, like that, but, we're related through marriage.
Right.
You know what I mean? I talk to you. I mean, I talk to you every day. Mm-hmm. But every now and then I'll be like, hey, what's up? What's going on? You'll be like, oh, I'm cool. I'm chilling. Hey, you want to pop over? Yeah, sure, But there's still some form of communication. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There's still some form of interaction. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not like I just say, oh, okay, I only see Tyrone on Christmas Day, or I only see Tyrone on Easter. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's religious stuff.
So you don't like the fact that they kind of only go at the days that they're supposed to go.
Well, not even that. I mean, I don't care if they go on those days or not, but it's not those days that matter. It's not even you going to church that matters.
Right. It's your connection to God that matters
on a daily basis.
Right.
Not just
when you need something.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's like Jesus Christ likens that relationship to a father and son. You know what I mean? Like a father and a son. Like, you address God as a father. He's your father. Right. Say if you live with your father every day, would you leave the house without talking to your dad? And he's there?
You can't.
You know what I mean? Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you still can.
You know what I mean? It's like you live in his house and you see him every day. Would you just get up and go to work and be like, hey, Dad? Or just ignore him and be like, oh, whatever. When you come home, or he says, hey, how was your day? Like, that's not a relationship.
Right.
That's just some kind of thing. You know what I mean? But what he desires is a relationship. Like, you sit in the morning, hey, Dad, what's up? How you doing? How'd you sleep? Oh, I slept well. How about you? Yeah, I slept well, but, I had a nightmare last night. I don't know what that was about. Really? Well, you got a minute? Yeah, I got a minute. Sit down. Let's not talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's a relationship. You know what I mean? And then, it's like, and then you come back from work or be like, hey, Dad, what's up? How was your day? Man, my day was fantastic. Let me tell you about my day. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what he wants.
That's the ignorance of them being like so close yet missing that point.
Exactly. It's what frustrates me. Yeah, and then, they have the set ways. I'm like, you're religious, man. That's a religious spirit, man. Get out of that. That's
so
what he came to do. Like, you're still in that prison, but the door's open and you're not walking out. I'm like, are you serious?
You
know, so that's frustrating. Like like the people that say, "Look, I don't believe and I just don't believe." Okay, I get it.
Right,
but you tell me you believe, and you say you classify yourself as a religion. Why?
Right.
Why? I don't get it. You don't get it either. But I don't get it. I get it, but I don't get why you don't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like
that's the frustrating thing. Like for me, I may not be inside of that field, having that party that you are. But when it does come to thinking about certain stuff, like politics, or again, like the color that we are.
Yeah.
So like other people that should be bringing a good name to the cause, they go too far and end up just like hurting the cause.
Exactly.
Like if you're on the side of the left and they go way too far about attacking like the freedom of speech, you're like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
We're supposed to be for the people, for freedom, for like helping the little man, and you're fucking up in this way of trying to suppress other people. Like what's going on?
That's it.
Being
and
so close,
you have
but
to
so
understand.
far away.
Exactly. You gotta understand the cause you're fighting for.
Yeah.
If you don't understand the cause you're fighting for, then you're just fighting because you want to fight.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
You got hooked on one aspect of it and ignored everything else in that cause.
Exactly.
And just as blindly swinging.
Exactly. So, and then if you really create that relationship, with God through Jesus Christ, then again, a lot of things come under that umbrella. You know what I mean? It becomes a way of life. And then at that point, it's no longer religion. It's just your way of life. And that's what it is. That's what Jesus Christ said. Plain English, I am the way, the truth, the life. I am the way to living a truthful life, a life of truth, a life where you understand. And the Bible even tells us, don't conform to this world. You look at the world now and you're like, oh goodness, look at what the heck's going on in the world. Don't be like them. Come out of the world. Don't do the things they do. Don't believe the things they believe in. Because exactly, be better. Show them the light. You are the salt of the earth. If the salt loses its flavor, then the world is doomed. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you are the salt of the earth and then there's no salt, who's going to tell those people, hey, no, there's a better way than this? Like, I know you don't think it is, but let me kind of try to show you, this new way, the way that I found,
But if people aren't thinking for themselves, they're not going to think
correct.
about that.
And like, again, it doesn't mean that you won't go through trials and tribulations. Heck, if you don't believe in any kind of God, you still go through trials and tribulations.
Right.
So what makes you think that because you believe in God and through Jesus Christ, that you still won't? No.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Exactly. It doesn't free you from that. It's just that now when you go through it, you kind of you kind of believe that, okay, based on what I believe, He's going through it with me. He can be my comfort even when I don't understand what's going on. I can rely on Him and say, okay, He knows what's best for me. Right. Maybe I don't really know what's best for me. So I'm going to basically take this burden that I'm carrying and I'm just going to give it to Him so I don't have to deal with it. And then it works out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a lifestyle. That's
right.
You see me go through that.
That's what helps me.
You know what I mean? Exactly. You see me use it to get through, tons of stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? And some people are like, I don't know how you still ticket, man. I don't even know how you still. Because again, it's not a religion to me.
Right.
It's my way of life. Man. This is for me. It's this or nothing.
Yeah.
If I don't have this, I don't consider me having a life.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've gotten to that point where it's my life. It's the way you will hear it in conversations. You may not like it, but you will hear it in conversations because it's my life. Not trying to say that, okay, I'm one way with this people and I'm one way with this other people. No, that's religious. When you see the people that you congregate with, you want to be like, oh, yes, bless them. And then the moment they turn their back, you just like
grocery store or something.
You just like you're just like everybody else in the world, but you're supposed to be the light, but you're darker than they are.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, no. And that's why when I was when I really had that revelation, singing in my house, in my apartment, by my own, reading the Bible, the scriptures, I received that revelation of not calling myself a Christian, and the detriment of using that term to define who I believe in, and what I believe And it was mind blowing.
Yeah.
Mind blowing. And immediately I started to see the difference. Immediately, even with what I believe in and how I approach things.
Right.
And it helped me better understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, because this is my way of life. I don't have a culture outside of this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a belief system outside of this. I don't have a tradition outside of this.
Because that is you. That is
Exactly.
who you are.
Exactly. So it's not, for me, it's not, oh, go to church on Sunday. That's what makes me who I am or what I am. I may never ever go to another church again till I exit this world.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that I still don't have my relationship with God through Jesus Christ.
Because you don't need the church.
Because I don't need the church to build that relationship. Just like if you if you use a father and son relationship, you don't need your uncle or your aunt or your cousin or your friend to help you with your relationship with your father.
Right.
That's your father. You know what I mean?
So whenever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the whole point of it. You know what I mean? That's the long and short of it, and everything else is, centers around that and just goes outward. You know what I mean? So it's not a certain way you do it. It's not how you do it. It's not what you call yourself or, no. If you don't, and that's why even Jesus said on that day, what day? Judgment Day, which every man has to go through at some point in time, well, after they die. He said, on that day, many will say to me, Lord, Lord, did I not do this in your name? Did I not do that in your name? Did I not do this in your name? And his response, he said, I will respond to them on that day and say, depart from me, I never knew you. You are a work of iniquity. You were always in the dark. You never came to the light. Yes, you did this in my name,
right.
But the fact of the matter is, God, that I believe in, the Almighty God, has put all power into one name. And this power, this name is a name that's recognized in the spiritual realm, in the heavenlies, and on earth here, and even in Hades, which is hell, the name is still recognized. So when the name is dropped, it is not based on you, because it's just the fact that the name itself has power.
Yeah.
So it's not you really doing anything.
Right,
So when you say, didn't we cast out stuff in your name? Yeah, but my name already has the power. You just used it. You know what I mean?
There was no heart in it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
there was no heart in it. You did that in my name, but you never really knew me. And I never knew you because of that. You never came to me. Everything you did was just for show.
There'd be a lot of shocked people. A lot of...
There will be a...
a lot of people with the jaws
will
of the girl
be
like, what?
And they're like, wait, you trying to tell me I'm still going to hell? I just said I don't know.
Mama told me, and her mama told her, and her mama told her.
But again, because you classified yourself as this, and you thought it was a religion, you did the religious thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I don't like religion. Because he himself saw that religion was meant to enslave man. Religion is meant to keep you under control, keep your mind thinking a certain way. Mm-hmm. But God wants to give you knowledge, wisdom beyond your understanding. Mm-hmm. Does that sound like somebody who wants you to be in a religion? No. Because religion only allows you to know what you know.
Right.
But he's saying, no, I know all things. Come to me. I'll give you wisdom. All you got to do is ask for it. I want to show you things that you never can fathom. Mm. Something that even the world will look at you and go, wow. Because even in the Bible, it said that when some of the disciples, after Jesus had ascended to heaven, when they spoke openly in front of kings, in front of rulers, they were like, wait, we know that these men were fishermen and they've never been educated, but they're speaking as someone who has, for lack of a better way to put it, doctorate degrees. Mm-hmm. They gotta have spent time with God. Mm-hmm. That was their conclusion, because they had no other reason for this men who were fishermen, who cussed like a sailor, to stand in front of a ruler of a nation or a country and speak eloquently as though they had been through varying degrees of education. Mm. That's the wisdom.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why God said, I will give you wisdom beyond what you can comprehend. Mm. So again, they were fishermen. They never went to school. But when they came in front of this people, they didn't talk to them like illiterates. They talked to them like people who were in the same class as them.
Mm-hmm. Wait, is this like one of the Jesus stories, or was this the Moses one?
No. This is the disciples. Like it's
disciples.
You know,
that's a story in its own.
Correct.
Okay, right.
You know, this is one of the disciples were preaching, you know, about Jesus and trying to get people to, you know, follow Jesus and believe in Jesus. And some people were reluctant. Some Jews were like, okay, you know, to the point that people were saying, okay, they're trying to divide us and they're trying to, you know, they're trying to attack the government. So they brought them in front of the government. And the government was like, okay, speak. And then they would just basically argue their case. Like, listen, you know, we're not here to mess with whatever you're doing. We just want, even you included, we want you to understand that this is what this man came to do. You guys killed him, but, you know, you killed him for the wrong reasons. And this is all he was trying to do. And basically, but it's the way they went about it. Like, you know, it wasn't that they didn't go up there with force. They didn't go up there with pitchforks and knives and, you know what I mean?
Protest.
Exactly. And they just spoke eloquently, you know, to the rulers. And they were like, wait, and these guys fishermen, how? Did they go to school? Like, but they're talking like they've been to school. Like, they had to have been with God. Right? Because there's no other explanation for it. Because even the Jews believe in God, but they believe in the God of Moses, the God of Abraham, and they don't think Jesus was associated with that God. So, I mean, even till today, there's still Jews who don't believe in Jesus Christ, you know, because they still say, oh, you know, we're seeds of Abraham, you know, we don't believe in Jesus Christ, he was just a prophet. You know what I mean? So, I mean, but, you know, be that as it may, not everybody's going to believe just because, even, you know what I mean? It is what it is. So, but that's what that is, you know, that's where I stand with that, and that's why, you know, again, I know the end of the thing, so everything that happens between now and the end of it, it's just stuff. You know what I mean? It doesn't keep me up at night.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And it shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
Let the world have
like,
that effect over you and or your emotions.
Exactly. So, but that's that part again. I mean, we'll come back to this one world thing. I'm sure it'll circle back around again because
we'll give it a little time to digest or something.
Let it marinate.
Some other stuff. So it doesn't become like an overall world
bearing exactly
podcast.
You know. So hey.
But yeah, still nice to dive into it here.
But yep. I think that was a good one for today.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I'm all speeched out right now.
Yeah. And again, good thing all the nice little updated shit. All that. Hopefully the quality is like a little bit better, but yeah, we'll see.
Yep.
Anyway,
but this is us again. I'm Julian.
Ty.
All right. See you on the next one.